It's right on my head. Livia Spare. I know you don't, Liv. You never do until I turn her on. Isn't that the funny way? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the pre-show. Holy moly, am I zoomed in?
I was going to say your picture looks really close.
That's what she said. Where is it at? Where's the beef? There it is. Let's see. And cam link 2. There we go. Much better. What's going on, everybody? We're coming in 5x5. We're going to do a kind of like a 10-minute pre-show for Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We got some feedback. I was talking to No. You don't get to hijack here. I'm going to turn you off. And now you're off. And now that shouldn't happen again. We're getting a lot of hum. You got some hum going on there? We need some music in the background. Let's do that. Let's turn on some music if people can hear us. Here. Let's see. What do we got? Gee, how? All right, that's much better. You can play a little still point in the background. That works, right?
That works.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Little still point. You guys can still hear us, I'm assuming. Let me turn that down a little bit. There we go. So we got some feedback from the producer, and he said, hey, I notice when I watch the show that you guys tend to, for 10 or 15 minutes, talk and, all right.
Yeah, turn that off.
I don't know why it's doing that. Why is it changing?
Because it's only set for 60 seconds.
I know what it is. I got it. Loop video. Gotta be a thingamabob in here that I created.
Thingamabob.
Come on, Liv. What is it? Why is it changing the scene?
You're asking the curse to all computers a computer question?
Yeah, I don't know why it's changing. Oh, there it goes.
Just butt your way in, Yenny.
That's good. That works. Anyway, so producer said, hey, Matt, I got a question. Yeah. You guys tend to go for 10 minutes or so. And you should not do that again. Liv, what the hell is going on?
Oh.
Let me see. Talk to him, Liv. Do your job.
My job is co-host. Remember, I'm supposed to be
host for a second, will ya?
co-host.
That's not it.
I answer questions.
All right, whatever. We'll see if that works. You're not doing a great job.
No,
you're
I'm not.
sucking at this.
I do.
So why don't you tell people
show.
about your new thing with the articles? I mean, come on, man. You can at least tell them.
I am reading some of the articles to record them.
Wow, that's so detailed.
I know.
You did a great job, Liv.
I did a great job recording it.
You did a good job. It was really well done. In fact, I was very, very impressed. So the first 10 minutes of the show between 7:50 is kind of like when we're going to say hi to everybody, and Spreely's not on yet. That way, when we get on Spreely, we're ready to go right into the show. So we'll have like this 10-minute warm-up where we sit here and talk to you and do all that stuff. How many more minutes until we're live so I can edit this clock, Liv?
4 minutes.
We're live in 4?
Yeah.
Is that right on the nosy posy?
Yep, it just turned 6:56.
All right, so there we go. 4 minutes left. So couple things. We said we were going to talk about tonight Bloodbath, but we're not going to do Bloodbath. We're going to do the Krassenstein brothers, who once again...
Bueller.
Bueller. Who want to censor everybody. We're going to talk about Dulles International Airport, our airport, actually. We live, just a hop, skip, and a jumpy away from that place.
Yeah.
Your light can go on to 2.
I thought I put it on 2. I'm sorry.
Let me see it. Look forward. I think we can get you down to 1. That looks pretty good. All right, so then we're going to talk about, what was the other thing we were doing, Livy?
Krassenstein. Oh, cops.
Yeah, Dominic Izzo had a quick video, and we're going to talk about that tonight, too. So you're listening to Still Point in the Back. I want to also talk to you tonight about dumb beef. I know. If you haven't had a chance to do it, go to dumbbeef.com, DUMBEEF. We have our own website, and finally got a sample, and we've got some promotion for y'all, so you guys can actually save on this. I don't know if you're a prepper. I don't know if you're concerned about having food in a situation that might prolong you from getting to a restaurant or a grocery store. Dumb Beef, man. This is a veteran-owned company. It is class. You get 15% off. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight. Just want to give you a heads up. I'm going to have the owners on the show for them to come on and say hello and, come on by and tell you all about it at some point. So we want you to go ahead and prepare for that. No pun intended. 15% off for everybody who participates. It's pretty cool. So if you haven't heard of what it is, it's simply dehydrated beef. And it lasts up to 10 years.
That's insane. Do you have to freeze it?
No.
How do you rehydrate it?
You rehydrate it by adding water and heat. That's simple. So we'll talk all about it. Do I have a link? Yeah, it's dumbbeef.com. DUMBEEF.com. It's pretty amazing stuff. I want you guys to, take it slow. This is the first company that I'm actually endorsing and who has built me a website. I mean, they got me my own URL. I mean, they must appreciate it. And you might want to look at prices and go, oh my gosh, those are astronomical. No, it's not for steak. So you're talking about having an incredibly robust ability to store and create meals out of USDA grade choice beef. It's good stuff. All made in the United States. It's not overseas. And they are a wonderful company. Go take a look. Dumbbeef.com. Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. And you get 15% off. You can use Clean Cows, or you can go ahead and use
Clean Cows.
Dumb Show. Yep, Dumb Show to get your 15% off. Just let me know if you make a purchase. I'll probably send you a free t-shirt.
Can we start singing Old MacDonald?
We can, but depending upon how much you guys buy, I'll throw you in a free t-shirt or something like that, because obviously we're going to make a little bit on it. But what's more importantly is that you're buying something. We also have an Amazon Cost Club, which you can buy toothbrush, toothpaste, hair gel, all the things you can get at Amazon, but it's all made in America. We're also getting our new club set up. So that's going to be set up here by the 15th. We'll have it. But we got 4 seconds. The good news is we're going to do the 10-minute pre-show every single night. Welcome to Spreely TV listeners. We had a 10-minute pre-show on Facebook and Twitter and everything else. Just saying hi and looking at our count go up a little bit. And this is something that we were doing. We're going to try to get to the show quicker. So we're going to do the opening intro, and then we're going to move right into the show. And then maybe afterwards we'll have a little bit of after show and stuff like that for those who want to stick around. We will be right back with the full Don't Unfriend Me show. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks, Brian. 2650. We appreciate the donation. It always helps. Olivia always needs a ton of makeup and other stuff, and she thanks you so
we
very
have a teenage daughter that likes to shop.
That's true. We have a teenage daughter. Thank you, Brian, for your donation. We appreciate you.
Hey, gang, Dominic Izzo, host of the Rants of Izzo show here on Spreely TV, reminding you, watch my friend Matt Spear on The Dumb Show daily as well here on Spreely TV. You're going to get talk, news, trending politics, all social issues, everything entertaining and engaging and educational. Do it. Watch it. The Dumb Show, Spreely TV, home of free speech. Speak freely here at Spreely. Pretty damn cool. Spreely TV and The Dumb Show.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Matthew Spear and
Olivia Spear. Hey, somebody had a question.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Olivia Spear.
Olivia.
Oh, do it, Simo. Do it slowly. Is that what we're doing tonight?
Sure. Ooh, hubba hubba.
Put your hands on your body like your lover puts his hands on your body. I know, I do that.
But if I had a body like Jamie Lee Curtis at this age.
You've got a body better than Jamie Lee Curtis. Hey, Deb, 2110. Thanks so much. I think that was from last night, but it posted just now. Thanks, Deb. We appreciate your...
I do not have a better body than Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie.
I think you've got a great... Listen, the only way we can tell is with factual evidence and proofs.
That's not going to happen.
Well, then stop arguing with me. Because I think your body is rocks and boxers. So I just thought, sure, it's what we do. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We had a 10-minute pre-show, and what we're going to try to do is get right into the prescribed show, the show that we want to create for you and talk to you about. We weren't on this morning. I got the new monitor, and I got to put that up. But the good news is we're going to get right into it. So that's important. It's hard to do. We like to kind of warm up, and then people are like, get to the point, damn it. Let's get to the show. And I'm like, all right, well, fine. Some people just want it that way. So Spreely people, if you want to, and you absolutely like the banter between us, and we like talking to the social media crew, and you like to communicate, you can come over to one of our social media channels at The Dumb Show and get us 10 minutes before the show. 8 o'clock we will start. And that's not bad. 5 minutes.
7 o'clock.
Whatever, 7 o'clock. That's right.
There
7
was
o'clock.
one question. Is the beef freeze-dried or dehydrated?
It is. We're going to offer dehydrated beef like jerky and stuff, but this is all freeze-dried. You can get New York strip, you can get prime rib, you can get all sorts of different freeze-dried beef at different quantities. So go to dumbbeef.com. Everything's right there. It'll list everything, DUMBEEF.com, and use the code that's on the top, Clean Cows, or use Dumb Show, and you can go ahead and save 15%. It's not a bad deal. 15% off the top is not a bad deal for steak right off the top. So go take a look, see what you think. Let me know. And if you order something, tell me. And like I said, I'll send you a free shirt or something if we've spent $100, I'll get you a free shirt or something like that, just to say thanks so much. All right, let's move on. Let's get to it. We don't have time to be screwing around. And Liv, do you want to tell everybody real quick about the news article, what you did, something real special while I looked this up?
Yes, I read one of the news articles that you wrote.
What did you sound like?
I haven't listened to it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I do not know.
I do not know. You no sé? You no sé.
What?
You no says I don't know in Spanish.
Ooh. That sounds really good. You did a great job.
Thank you.
You should record something for
Gracias.
me. Yeah, it's like you don't know Latin. You don't know Spanish, Mexican.
No, this is sign language.
So thank you.
That's thank you in sign language.
Oh, what's that?
I have no idea because I don't know that one.
All right. So somebody said, "Can I watch Spreely without downloading it?" Sure. Yeah. Just go to Spreely.tv, and we're on there right now. We are on Spreely TV right now. Okay, we got to do this. We can't stop. I know you all want to talk right now, and this is what we always do. We got to stop. We got to get to the show because people on Spreely are like, "Come on, man, hurry up." And I get it. They are watching on a TV set, right? So they're like sitting there and they're going to change the channel. So we'll have some time after the show. We'll do that 10 minutes before the show, and then join the club that we have. And then we're going to be doing one-on-ones too. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be me, Olivia, Leroy, Amy, kicking back, having a few whiskeys, and we'll all sit here and talk and chat. All right. First topic is, Liv, what are we talking about? We're talking about Mr. Trump.
Yes.
What's going on with the airport, honey?
So apparently Republicans are putting forward a bill that they want to rename Dulles International Airport to Trump International Airport.
That's
I think
correct.
is what I saw.
Something to that effect, right? How do you feel about this all in all? Well, let's listen to the video, and then we can go ahead and talk about it. Then we can talk about Alan Dulles and what a douche plow he was. Here's the video, and hopefully it doesn't skip. Let's listen. Yes, they fixed it. Hold on. I know nobody has audio. It's coming.
Trump International.
There it is. Here it comes. Okay.
Tell us right now to explain why. Homa.
Yeah, Jim. Okay, so the proposal, as you said, would be to go from Dulles International Airport to Donald Trump International Airport. Of course, people have strong opinions on this one way or the other, including Congressman Jerry Connolly, whose district includes part of Dulles.
It's kind of a disgusting exercise. It will go nowhere, but it will serve their political purpose in trying to win more favor from Donald Trump.
So the proposed bill is short. It's just 2 pages. It gets right to the point. It was proposed by a Pennsylvania Republican and co-sponsored by 6 other GOP lawmakers in the House, again, none of whom are from this area. Dulles Airport, one of 3 in the DMV region, is named after Secretary of State John Foster Dulles, who served in the Eisenhower administration. It's had this name.
So I guess your thing didn't play because I had it down. So I'll play that in a second so you can all hear Olivia's voice. Thank you. We're having a little technical difficulty starting so early. We forgot sound check. It's my fault. Actually, it's Olivia's fault.
Since it opened back in 1962. DCA, or Ronald Reagan Airport, of course, is named after our 40th president. Representative Connolly says this all feels like deja vu. He recalls when, during the Clinton administration, Congress renamed National Airport after Reagan amid threats of cutting off federal funding if they didn't. Well, as for airport goers we spoke with, there are, of course, 2 sides here.
Yes, Donald Trump! I'm a Trumpster from 1984. He deserves it. He earns it. It's a shame what our country is going through right now. It's despicable.
So you'd be happy to be here?
Man, I want this lady on our show. Good for her.
She's great.
Good for her.
Trump International.
Blissful. Blissful. We'll put a Donald Trump wrap on my car to be sitting here, honoring him. It's brilliant.
I prefer it the way it is. I think Dulles is a better name for the airport than name.
Right, a CIA guy who had everything to do with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. What, these yuppies, I swear to God.
After the former president. I guess I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump, and I don't think it's appropriate to name stuff after him after all the controversy.
Yeah, well, you're a metrosexual. Nice V-neck sweater.
So no word yet from the Trump campaign on this legislation. The Republicans have a razor-thin majority in the House, but as for the Democrat-controlled Senate, this bill is likely dead on arrival. Guys.
All right, well, that brings us to a Fox 5 Live Instant question. Should Dulles International Airport be renamed after former President Donald Trump? 72% of you.
Shocking. Shocking that this would no, I don't believe this poll. I mean, who's taking this poll? Where's Dulles located at?
That would be near D.C.
Right. And the North Virginia, Nova area, and D.C., of course.
Richmond, Fairfax, that area.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Democrats.
the fact that he got 28% is absolutely shocking.
A bigly margin say no. 28% of you say.
Hey, Big Lee.
So here's the thing. A lot of people. Do you know who Alan Dulles was, Olivia?
No.
So Alan Dulles was essentially director of Central Intelligence Agency and was fired by John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy said he wanted to splinter the intelligence community after OSS, which was the Office of Strategic Services, which Wild Bill Donovan created during World War II, which really kind of did more of clandestine stuff like the SEAL teams did. They would go in on beachheads. They would lay satchel charges on shipping vessels. They would do the thing. They would come in and get people out of real tough situations. And they were definitely a clandestine group, OSS. Well, OSS ultimately turned into the CIA, which became the necessity to have a national intelligence agency for the United States government. Very similar to the FBI, but not quite the same thing because the FBI runs domestically and handles more of the legality of U.S. law, where the CIA would handle things that were outside of U.S. law and into international law and try to skirt the lines of breaking international law with espionage, political assassinations, coups d'etats, and everything else. So Kennedy wasn't a big fan. He felt that the CIA had let him down during the Bay of Pigs. There were several other foreign dignitaries who came to the United States who were assaulted by protesters. Kennedy wasn't a big fan of that. There were rumors that there were going to be political assassinations or attempts on his life and other world leaders, and felt that the CIA was creating enemies at a rapid clip that the United States would not be able to recover from. So he was not a big fan. But Bay of Pigs probably was the biggest failure by the CIA, and did not really find the value in them. Now, John F. Kennedy, what a lot of people don't know, is John F. Kennedy created the SEAL teams and the UDTs, which were become a part of the SEAL team, and they're underwater demolition teams. But ultimately, the training is just the same. Small khaki shorts with a diving knife on your leg, and a white T-shirt, and that's the UDT. But UDTs and SEALs they're bred from the same flock. They go through the same BUDS training, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and their specialties are designed and they're attached to teams, just like SDV units, which are fast attack boats and stuff like that, are also assigned to the teams. The interesting thing about it is that Kennedy created the teams to kind of alleviate and destroy the clandestine operations of the OSS, and also to have a unit that was able to do things like guerrilla warfare and insertion and everything else, which was going to be required for places like Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, etc. The reason I go into this is because when Alan Dulles was fired, Kennedy went after several others, and it created ripples through the intel community. And General McNamara was released from the Joint Chiefs. You had Alan Dulles. You had directors of NSA who were deputy directors who were released. So he went through ONI, Office of Naval Intelligence, DIA, Defense Investigative Agency. A lot of these intel fat cats were essentially removed from Washington, which gives them probable cause based upon what their job was, which was to do coups d'etats, political assassinations. It just lays it at the doorstep of the CIA, who took out Kennedy. Dulles, now here's the interesting thing, a little trivia for you. Do you know what the Warren Report is?
Yes.
What's the Warren Report?
That was the special investigation into the Kennedy assassination, correct?
That is correct. Can you tell me who, I want you to think about this. First of all, do you know how big the Warren Report was?
I don't know.
Not by size, but overall volume count.
No, not
Okay.
a clue. I know you've read it all, but no.
Yeah.
I only know this because I watched the movie JFK.
JFK? Did you just call it JFK?
Yes, I did. Just to see your face. Yes, I know what the movie is called.
All right.
Just
So
to see your
the Warren Report has several volumes, and it depends which one you read. But you can read up to 20 volumes, 23, 27 volumes of the Warren Report, depending upon what you actually get. It is a huge shit sandwich, essentially. It was not...
Was Dulles his character in the movie JFK? I don't remember.
Dulles was going into a limo in JFK, and that was about it.
Okay.
Nothing in a lot of detail. But you have to understand what the CIA did. They got the Dalai Lama out. They went after the Shah of Iran. They were supplying in Greece and Lemnos Isles. They were supplying Afghanistan at the time. The CIA was everywhere, and they were doing things that were, especially with Cuba, and especially trying to kill Castro. But the interesting thing is when they created the Warren Report, Earl Warren was a former justice. He started the Warren Report and was assigned to investigate Kennedy's murder. You'll never guess who they put on the Warren Commission to lead the overall investigation of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I'll give you one guess.
I don't remember.
What do they want to rename it? What airport?
Trump.
What's the name of the airport?
The current name is Dulles.
What Dulles? What's his first
Bless
name?
you.
First name. Alan Dulles. And he was the former director of
CIA.
And he was fired by whom?
Kennedy.
And who did they assign to be the head of the investigation in the Warren Report?
Alan Dulles.
Alan Dulles. So give me a break that Alan Dulles is this hero to America. Alan Dulles most assuredly had dirty hands in the assassination of John F. Kennedy, along with McNamara and several others. So the documents that were just released, the 14,000 some odd documents, essentially lay the Kennedy assassination at the CIA's feet. This is no longer speculation. There is exculpatory evidence that the CIA was involved. At least from a posthumous standpoint of Kennedy's assassination, of making sure it was covered up and the true people involved were not found. And that could be Clay Bertrand, Clay Shaw, that could be David Ferry, Operation Mongoose. I mean, if you watch the JFK movie, there is so many things that aren't true, but there is a lot of the basis. And Clay Shaw, Clay Bertrand was absolutely a CIA asset and was later disclosed, I think in 1978, that he was an asset for the Central Intelligence Agency, and that is the person that Jim Garrison went ahead and tried for bringing someone to justice in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Of course, that was unfounded, and nothing happened from that. But what it did create was the ripples of creating this and keeping this alive. From my uncle, from myself, who absolutely love, what is still just, in my opinion, probably one of the biggest conspiracies with the most rabbit holes possible. Is it the CIA? Was it the Klan? Was it the Mafia? Was it Russia? Was it Cuba? There's so many different, possibilities of who it was based upon where you want to go. And really the only thing you can come to any real conclusion on is that there were decisions made within the assassination of John F. Kennedy that only our government could have made, that they were the only people who had control of it. Whether it was leaving the top off the limo or changing the parade route or hitting the brakes from the driver or not having the Secret Service that they usually would have riding on the vehicle itself, from putting him in a position where he had his back brace on so he could not duck and could not lay down when the first shot happened because it kept him propped up. So many different decisions were made that, from grounding of air traffic, losing telecoms in Washington, D.C. and Dallas that day, from cover stories that were put out in New Zealand and Australia, 3 or 4 hours after the shooting, not understanding who Lee Harvey Oswald was, and then having the response at the movie theater with 30 cop cars for someone who just didn't pay a ticket. They didn't even have Oswald's description out at that time, from him shooting Officer Tippit and going and traversing those almost 2 miles in such a short period of time and not having powder burns on his hands that day. There's so many things that it's not conspiratorial. It's just fact that has no answer. And you have to ask the question, not who, what, when, where, but simply the why. Why would have Kennedy been killed? So when they say they want to change it from Dulles to Donald Trump, it always amazes me that I'm hearing these liberals say, oh, well, Donald Trump's such a horrible human being. It's like, are you kidding me? This is Alan Dulles. I mean, this is probably this is the Benedict Arnold. This is the guy who killed Caesar. I don't know if I truly care if Alan Dulles remains on that airport or not. What do you think? I mean, you and I but we moved and we were close to Simi Valley and we were close to the Ronald Reagan Library. You know what every president gets within, a decade of their service. What's that?
A library.
What are they going to do when he gets his presidential library?
Exactly.
Can you imagine what they're going to do?
They're going to freak out.
Are they going to protest? Are they going to burn it down? What are they going to, I think if I was Donald Trump, I would start what if this election doesn't go through and he doesn't win in 2024, the first thing I would do is start raising money for my presidential library. And the question is, where do you put it? Where would be a place where you could piss off the liberals the most?
Middle of New York City.
Middle of New York City. Like go buy some property.
Next to Letitia's house.
What's that place that they have where it's BLM and it's like George Floyd Corner or George Floyd's Street? Where is that? Do you
is
know?
that where? That wasn't Minnesota. Minnesota was
Look it up. Look it up. Where's George Floyd Corner or George Floyd?
Is it like a?
It's like a memorial thing. Yeah. Where's I'd buy that property and stick it right there. But here's what it comes down to: is we can rename all airports that have white history, but the moment that you try to take a proven traitor to our country in Alan Dulles and replace it with a former president, the question you have to ask yourself is, you guys, liberals rename things all the time. The Harry Bird Highway, right? What was it? Harry Bird? Yeah. It's now Route 7 because they renamed it right when we moved in. Where's it at? George Floyd, what?
In
Minneapolis?
Yeah. Intersection of 38th Street and Chicago Avenue.
He should buy
South Minneapolis.
He should buy that area and stick the Donald Trump Presidential Library right there. Or put it in New York, right? Make it solid gold. Have Trump with giant letters, have lasers fly every night. I mean, just do the most gaudy, ostentatious thing ever made. I think
somebody just said turn the Trump Hotel in D.C. to the library. So
there you go.
It's right there.
It's right there. Yeah.
Oh, my allergies are going nuts.
Well, they're going to flip out over that anyway. But I think it's kind of funny when you think about it, that he's going to get his presidential library, and this guy's going to go through history. You got to understand, there's going to be streets named after him. You can go and you can see Lincoln and Washington. You can see Roosevelt, Franklin. I mean, there's streets everywhere. Obama's got a street named after him. Reagan has a street named after him. It's only a matter of time before you start seeing this. So what are they going to try to do? Just erase him from history? I want to see the Donald Trump Franklin Mint coin. His profile, how they have ones of Obama and Biden, now get the limited edition bicentennial of George Washington Franklin Mint gold-plated coin. I'd love to see the Donald Trump coin. I would love to have them start selling Donald Trump swag in Washington, D.C. at the memorials. And, I mean, they're not going to be able to just strike this guy from history, are they? Is that
they're going to try, but I don't know. My opinion about the whole thing is I know Dulles wasn't a good guy, but I think they should not.
Really?
Yes. I'm real sick of everything being changed, of all the schools being changed, of the roads being changed, of them taking down statues and changing library names. And they were named that way for a reason at a specific time.
Right.
And that's our history. That's our country's history. We're erasing our history.
Wow.
And that is why we are at where we're at.
I think you flipped me.
Because
holy shit, I think you flipped me. You changed my mind.
Really? That has never happened in 25 years. Well,
Well, when you wanted to do reverse cowgirl, I was completely resistant. I was
trying to keep it PG, but
I was completely resistant, and then I'm all for it. You changed my mind. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, I love Donald Trump. I'm a supporter, but I mean,
wow.
Yeah, I think
that's a really good point, Liv.
Thank you.
I mean, it's not like I'm shocked that you made a good point. You make good points all the time, but that's a really
I'll give myself my own applause.
No, that doesn't work. You're not allowed to. No, cringe. You were doing so well.
I know.
So I think you're right, because that's what we say all the time is, hey, why are you changing things? Now, if they were going to change it to the William J. Lepedemain Court, I'm all about the William J. Lepedemain International Airport. That's Blazing Saddles. It's
Gotcha.
William J. Lepedemain. All right. So I think that's a great point. I can't argue it. I have nothing. I have no counter argument, because if we're going to sit here out of one side of our mouth and say, don't change this, don't. And even when I said it, it seemed kind of foreign when I'm like, well, they change everything. Why can't we? And that's kind of, a pedantic talking point that the left does. Why can't we just say, you know what? No, you shouldn't change it. And I would love to see some Republicans come out and say that. I would love to see them come out. I'd love to see Donald Trump say that, because what a great, you should send it into the Trump campaign. I'm not kidding. Write him an email and say, listen, this is a great opportunity for you guys to earn some PR. Have Trump come out and say, you know what? There'll be times to build new airports in 2024. We will build new infrastructure, new airports, and I would be honored to have one of our names. And we'll also go ahead and recognize other great presidents in history that haven't been, but we don't need to be changing our history. Liberals have done that enough. What a talking point. Holy Crush City, people stand up and shed tears of blood over your contribution. You should send it in, honey.
Maybe I will.
You should. Anyway, I'm very proud of you. So listening to this.
Will Sotomayor's retirement decision tilt the Supreme Court? April 2nd, 5:46 p.m. Washington, D.C. Amid concerns over President Joe Biden's waning popularity and the profound impact of Donald Trump's 3 Supreme Court appointments, Democrats are confronting the potential for long-term judicial shifts.
It sounds great. And I love that the articles now have audio. You can find that at news.thedumbshow.com. It's growing. Our little group on Facebook is up to like 2,500. And I haven't even really started to, push that at all. But you can go to The Dumb Show. You can see it's a fantastic site. It's got our latest episode up on top. You can go into the articles, full color pics. There's usually videos. It's fast loading. There are some ads in there. Understand we get paid for that. But you can listen to Olivia's 3 minutes and 38 seconds for this article. We're going to be doing it. Leroy's going to be doing some of it, and we're going to have the host read these articles. You could go and check it out, news.thedumbshow.com. While you're there, stop by.
We should even have Hayden do a couple. You think she would?
I don't know. Every time we ask Hayden to participate, she says no. But maybe she will, whatever. But, we would appreciate if y'all would head on over there, take a look, and share. Let's get to it. We've got some other stuff to go in through tonight. I think we'll put this one to bed. We'll chalk this up to you having the best comment of the night. Dulles International changing its name. No, we don't want it to change. Leave it the way it is. It's part of history. Alan Dulles was a sanctimonious twat waffle, but he's our sanctimonious twat waffle, and we should keep him. I think that's a great idea for Trump to come out and say, I appreciate it. I think that's a wonderful sentiment, but 2024 we'll be building new airports. Something like that. He could use that in one of his stump speeches, and I think it would go over very, very well. Great job. I really appreciate it. And also good job on the article, honey. You're quite the handy person.
Yeah, I know where your brain is at right now.
Izzo drops the truth about cops. This, our good friend, Dominic Izzo, you guys may have seen him on the rants of Izzo.com. He has a mouth on him. He's a little lippy, but we like that about him. He is a former police officer. He is now a shock jock host on Spreely.tv. We are not required to show you Izzo stuff. In fact, we don't even like him enough to do it, but we will go ahead and do it today. But he is a super cool dude. This conversation, Olivia wanted to take a part of this. She heard this and said, yeah, this is a topic I'm willing to talk about. So let's go ahead and listen to Izzo and what he has to say here, and then we'll be back to comment on this.
To change the behavior. Now you are setting the standard in the public eye to...
Just an FYI, there is a few harsh and colorful words here. That is Izzo, and he has no problem expressing himself with colorful metaphors, but it's nothing you haven't heard before. Grin and bear it, because there's some really good points here. Here it is. I don't know what he must be in some sort of disco hall, or is he getting arrested, or...
I don't know.
I think that's a police.
It's probably supposed to be a police car or something.
It is.
He's talking about police.
Wow. High-end graphics over at the Izzo show. He spares no expense. LucasArts has started working with Dom Izzo.
Now you are setting the standard in the public eye to fear the black man and woman in America, because that's what this is. This is afraid to be on YouTube. This is afraid to sit there and have your job crucified. But what you're also doing is you're condoning this behavior, which I know, I keep saying, law enforcement, the cops in the street are not the ones who are supposed to change the behavior. They're supposed to wind up observing, reporting, and passing that information on to your state or district attorney and letting the job of the judge and the jury do the prosecution and the conviction if necessary. When it comes down to this shit, you put so many other cops in danger because now it's going to keep moving that fucking line. It's Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam. I dare you to cross across this line. I dare you to cross this one. I dare you, and they're doing it. The goalpost keeps moving because you fell into the terror of not doing your job, and now you're going to have other people say, shit, we can get away with this.
Let's go ahead and frame this so everyone understands. What Dom is talking about is police officers not doing their duty based upon fear of retribution from being recorded or having a prosecutor throw them in jail for defending their lives. And cops are turning the other cheek. The best way I can describe it is if you've seen the movie The Town with Ben Affleck, which is just a fantastic movie if you haven't seen The Town. Go watch it. It's Batfleck's best. Yeah. What was it? Benlo? Is that what they called him and J-Lo?
I don't remember.
But
They're still a thing.
Gigi? Well, they are now. They broke up for a while, and then she liked that A-Rod Cuban style, whatever he is. He's Mexican. And she went after A-Rod, and then she left A-Rod, and then she's back with Ben Affleck.
She also went with what was the Hispanic dude?
Oh yeah, the guy who did
Who did Denzel Washington movie. Man on Fire.
Man on Fire. Thank you. And it was, what was his name? It wasn't Michael Gillespie. That wasn't it. Even close. I don't know why that name popped into my head. Holy shit! I
don't remember.
Mark Anthony.
Yep, there it is.
So I knew it was a saint or something. So Mark Anthony. If you haven't seen the movie Man on Fire, oof, go watch it.
Good
Fantastic. One of my favorites. Anyway, so when you look at this and you think about this, is that they keep moving the goalposts further and further and further down the road. And I was going to bring up a movie that did it best. What was it, Liv? What was I talking about?
You're talking about me. Oh, The Town.
Yeah, in The Town. So in The Town, they do this robbery, and they're trying to get back over to Southie, or wherever they're not Southie. It doesn't matter, PA in Philadelphia, whatever it is. They're trying to get over the bridge, and they just hit a bank, and all five of them in a car, and they're going to swap a vehicle. And what they do is they gasoline it, they bleach it, and then they throw a flare into it and burn it, so there's no hair or no microscopic evidence of them skin follicle, hair follicles, or whatever fibers from their pants or shoes where they can be identified, because the FBI is on them. And they're trouncing this vehicle, and they all get out with their freaking automatic weapons, and they're ready to they're ready to switch vehicles, and they look over, and there's a freaking cop, and it was Boston. It wasn't Philadelphia, it's Boston. So they were going over the bridge, and they're sitting there, and this cop is just taking his break, eating a donut or whatever, and he's looking straight. It's funny, we start talking about Boston, and my hockey days come out. You can hear it in my accent. Go to Boston, go over to the yacht and have a pickle. But anyway, so as that cop's sitting there and he's chewing on his donut, he looks over, and these guys don't see him, right? And they're just, they're freaking slinging their rifles over their grabbing the bags of cash, and they've got their masks on and shit. And they all of a sudden stop, and all of them with this they're all in nun masks, and they're just staring at this cop, and you see their eyes going like this. Is this cop going to get froggy? Is he going to jump, right? And they're just waiting. And they're just staring at him. And, you see Ben Affleck's eyes, and then Jeremy Renner's eyes, who's in the movie. And they're kind of just like, it's a standoff, Mexican standoff. And this cop will not flinch, and neither will they. And then you just see one of the nuns just like put his head up like, oh God, don't do it, dude. We don't want to kill you, And the cop just does this. And he looks straight ahead, and they're like, switch the car and go on. And my point is that in that situation, that officer obviously knew that he was going to die if he even went for the radio, got his sidearm, got out of the vehicle, and he realized that. And the fear was just so insurmountable, he didn't do his job. And I think what Izzo is trying to say is that is, and I've spent enough time with Iz and have done like 7-8 shows with him now, that what he's saying is that these cops are terrified of the overall court of public opinion that will crucify them if they do anything to defend themselves and truly have to do something that is defending someone else's life or their own. Liv, what are your thoughts on this? We have cops that are friends and family. Would love to get your thoughts.
I think it's sad that even has to come up in the first place. That the first thing in a cop's mind when they're in a situation is what's going to happen to me after the situation, and not what they should be thinking about and trying to fix the situation or help the situation. And so, I mean, and it's also, so their brain's not 100% on what they're doing. It's going to, other cops are going to get hurt. Other people are going to get hurt. People are standing by are going to get hurt, and they're not 100% into it. And it's not fair that that's what they're thinking about. But unfortunately, that's kind of what they have to do. And
that's what can get them killed, right?
Yeah.
It's that second of indecision of, should I pull my firearm? This guy's going to shoot me. This guy's got a knife. And you're going to get people killed. And that's what Izzo's point was, is you're going to get other cops killed, because once you get into a situation like that, where you had an opportunity to stop somebody, say there's an active shooter, right? And this guy's going into a secure building to get an elevated position, and either you put him down or you're going to have to go in and get him when he's on the 3rd floor. He's got elevation on you, and more cops are going to get killed if you don't take him down, and your decision is trepidation and doubt. You're going to put more people in jeopardy. You're going to get more civilians killed. You're going to get more police officers killed. Here's that video real quick. I want to show you this scene, and just so you guys can kind of get an idea. I think I described it fantastically, but we're going to find out. You have to tell me.
All the DNA and shots. Fuck was that?
You got to watch that movie. Probably, in my opinion, if you like, you can't be like, that's my favorite movie of all time, because you got to break it down by category. But if you want to go down like crime drama, that's the one. I mean, it essentially is Good Will Hunting meets Heat.
That's a good movie.
That's a good movie too. Heat is fantastic. So it's very much like Heat. It's got that element of Good Will Hunting, you know, the kids from the lower ends of the tracks, but it's also got The Departed. So it's like Departed, Heat, and Good Will Hunting. Those three together. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. It's impeccable. And Departed is one of the greatest movies of all time. But this is right up there with The Departed. I mean, the acting chops is ridiculous. The whole suspense. Renner is just amazing in that movie. And I don't like Jeremy Renner, and I love him in that movie because he just is like a little Boston prick. I mean, completely. He's just got that whole thing down. Great movie. But anyway, that I think really kind of sums it up. You know, I want to talk. I didn't have a chance to spend Monday with Izzo because he had a recorded show on. But you know, I want to kind of pick his brain. Is where do we move on from here? And the only thing I can think of, Liv, is if you look at Giuliani, and Rudy Giuliani is not my favorite person, you know this.
No.
But he certainly was when he was in New York. And the way he responded to 9/11 and the way he went in and cleaned up that city is what he did is he gave cops carte blanche, 100% the ability to make decisions, and he would back them up. And I think there is a very fine line between creating a Gestapo-type police force but also the pussification of the police force where it is now. You've got to get back to respecting police. And if you got to rap somebody on the beak once in a while to get a little respect, dare I say that it's got to happen. I mean, you might have to go ahead and lean on people a little bit. You might need to start doing stop and frisk again. You might need to take these streets back, but it's not going to happen by osmosis. These DAs do not back up these cops.
No, they don't, and it's sad, especially when those cops got beat up by the illegal aliens, and they were let off.
Yeah,
I mean,
isn't that interesting?
It is ridiculous, and that's why I don't blame the cops for feeling that way, because most of them have their own families and their own lives, and they don't want to leave their wives or husbands, widows and widowers, and leave their kids without a mom or a dad.
Right.
And I totally get that.
Is it worth it? I mean, is it worth being disabled? Is it worth losing an eye? Is it worth, losing a leg or losing your life for some punk who's going to decide to go ahead and rob, $5,000 in an Apple store? The answer is no. Because you're outnumbered, you're outgunned, and you're outsupported when these criminals are back out on the street the next day. It just baffles me. And speaking of illegals, it's interesting when we keep saying that these people are asylum seekers. Please tell me which South American government, which Mexican government is committing mass genocide and political assassinations on the people of their country. Can someone tell me? What is this, Bolivia? What is this, Colombia? What is this, 1970s? But someone please tell me the South American countries who are murdering political opposition or murdering civilians for no reason. Can anyone tell me?
Venezuela, maybe?
No. Starving their people, but it's not political prosecution. They're not being threatened by a government and politically being taken into a camp or being thrown into a prison or a jail cell. This isn't the days of 1970, 1980 South America. And although certain parts of Venezuela struggles with poverty and a 3% socialist leadership that is starving the people, that's not what political asylum's for. When you're Haiti, okay, is that the government or is that the people? That's not the government, right? So those are people and groups that are rising up and are overthrowing the current government. It's a little bit different. And I don't know if that's the same thing, right? So I'm not saying there aren't places that are fleeing political prosecution, but I don't think you can sit here and say in South America and Mexico that this is happening. Now, you have the cartels who want to kill civilians because those civilians peddled drugs for the cartel and then tried to steal from them. That's not political asylum. You're not seeking asylum. You're seeking your ass getting. You broke the law. You did illegal things, and you're trying to you're trying to escape retribution. Does that make sense? What I'm saying there?
That makes very perfect sense.
Yeah, and the last time I checked, Haiti isn't South America. So, we're talking Dominican Republic, we're talking Haiti. These are definitely countries that are struggling, Cuba, et cetera. But to say political prosecution or seeking asylum from a tyrannical government, that's I don't know. The DNCR, I don't know what the DNC is. You're talking about Democrat National Convention?
That's what I would think.
I always found it quite coincidental that they canceled the show Cops. Yeah. Did you hear about the lady running for office who was killed by gang members? No, I didn't, but you can certainly tell me all about it. Mexico has, once again, that's different. That's the Mexican government failing to do their job. So, and those are the cartels. It's the same thing in Haiti. You have these roaming gangs. Well, those gangs need to be taken care of by the government. Once again, that's not political prosecution. North Korea, that's different. I mean, there's not a lot of North Koreans coming over the border, right? We're talking about predominantly, besides out-of-state visas, the number one areas for mass migration, Mexico and South America. And you do have definitely from Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti, et cetera, people coming up from there. But most of it is done from South America. Most of it is done from overstayed visas in Mexico. So I'm just interested. I just wish somebody would tell me, please, What are they seeking asylum from, and from whom? The cartels, man. Well, maybe you shouldn't have dealt drugs and paid it, gringo. So, gringo. That's stupid. I'm the gringo. Now that we've established that, I want to get to the last one, Krassenstein. The Krassenstein twins. These guys, this is...
Bueller.
This is the second time we've talked about these yokels.
Bueller.
I'm absolutely... I can't... it's hard for me to deal with these guys, but I got to put them on the show because they're just... They're
the comedic relief of our show.
It's not just that. You know, there's times where there's days where I'm kind of like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. This is stupid. You know, I'm not good at this. I'm not, you know, this isn't my best thing I can do. I can do other things. And then I see the Krassensteins and I look at their 2 million followers and I go, okay, bullshit. I am so much better than these guys.
Yes, you are.
There's no way I'm going to stop. And I understand I can be wordy. I can understand I can go a long time. I get all that, but that's thoroughness, and that's what I do. And either you like that or you don't. But there's people who listen for 2 hours to Glenn Beck, and I'm like, give me a break. How the hell do you listen to Glenn Beck and then you go ahead and question me? I find myself much more entertaining than Glenn Beck, but I could be wrong. That could just be me, and I'm delusional. But anyway, this is the Krassenstein video that I wanted to show you today. It is, this is Brian.
And it's just been charged.
There's no difference between Brian and his brother.
Except for Ed's skin shines like diamonds in the sun. That's about it.
Yeah. They're both blatantly hot for each other. There is definitely that. They, brotherly love, they take that to a new, you looking good, Bri. Yes.
Dude, he has no shoulders. They just like.
No, Brian's fit. Down. No, I got to give it to Brian and his brother. They're fit. I mean, they are fit. Those guys are probably 3.5–4% body fat. They take care of their body like gay guys should. So I got to give it to him. He's got shoulders. He's fit. He's a fit guy, and that's okay. I'm not going to question that. His voice is what drives me crazy. My God, you think he would come out with some bass, but there is none. Here it is. This is not an April Fool's. Enjoy.
And this right here is why Trump needs to be gagged. A New York man.
Trump needs to be gagged. You hear how he's like, he needs to be silent.
He's thinking about gagging Donald Trump.
Right. He wants him to be the gimp. He wants him to get in the trunk. So, you know, this just leads me to believe that he is exactly.
He's thinking about Pulp Fiction.
That's right. Right. Go get the gimp. Okay.
Who's Fred? Fred's dead.
Zed's
dead.
It's a chopper, baby.
Sorry.
Really?
My bad. It rhymes with Fred, Zed, dead. They all rhyme.
First, I'm going to call me up some hard pipe hitting beeps with a blowtorch and a pair of motherfucking pliers.
Yeah, I love how you beeped out the first one, but not the second one.
And well, the first one was the N-word.
Oh.
And then we're going to go mud evil on his ass. This soon-to-be dead mother... Just love... What does Marcellus Wallace look like? What? Say what again, mother... All right. Here we go.
In charge after he allegedly threatened to kill New York Attorney General Letitia James and Judge Engoron. He wrote, "Mark my words, I will kill you if you even dare to permanently steal Donald Trump's assets or his property." This was from 26-year-old Tyler Vogel. He also texted them their addresses as a threat and wrote the following: "I want to give you, Letitia James, a very fair warning that you are not to permanently steal Donald Trump's assets or his property." He also then threatened that he would go after you with legal force and with his whole wall of deadly weapons. Vogel has been charged with 2 counts of making a terroristic threat and 2 more counts of second-degree aggravated harassment. Stop pretending that the guy who is facing 85 felonies is the good guy.
It used to be 91.
Yeah.
I wonder how it got to 95.
And the judges who are trying to uphold the law and their families are bad. It just shows your ignorance.
Okay.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Why does Donald Trump need to have a gag order when he didn't make the threat?
Right.
How is this connected?
I'm
so confused.
Is Bernie Sanders going to get arrested for what happened to Steve Scalise getting shot at the baseball park?
I'm very, very confused. Anything to blame Donald Trump for, anything. Here's the other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why
You know what? You know what? Hold on. Just go.
Why is this dude? I understand he made a threat. He needs to go to jail. But why are the many people who have threatened Donald Trump, especially celebrities, why aren't they in jail? I mean, he said, "I'm going," in quotes, "I will kill you," blah, 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 blah. Johnny Depp said that. So,
yeah, he said, when's the last time an actor has
killed a president,
has assassinated a president? Right.
So if that's not a direct threat, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So double standard yet once again. But this has nothing to do with Donald Trump.
Right.
It's a deranged supporter, a deranged fan who's just pissed off at everything. Probably shouldn't have said what he said. But
not probably. He shouldn't have said what he said. You can't say that stuff.
No, you can't. But you can say it if you're a Democrat. You can say it if you say it about Donald Trump if you're on that side, because they don't give a shit what you say and threaten him. But no, if they threaten one of their own, better watch out.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing when first of all, I don't condone anyone dying for their own stupidity, and nice hat. So Letitia James and Engeron, in my opinion, are absolutely corrupt. It's a New York system that selectively decides to prosecute people based upon political ideology. I think, listen, here's what it comes down to. There are 86 current criminal charges against Donald Trump, and none of them have even scratched the surface of going to court. None of these things are facing the light of day. They're being pushed back. They're being reconsidered. They're mischarging him. And the only thing we've seen thus far is civil. And anyone who thinks that $500,000 bond was just, it got lowered, which means Donald Trump was right to $167 million. It was an unfair bond. Even the $167 million, $197 million, whatever it is also unfair.
They're only doing it to keep it in the spotlight.
That's right.
And to keep it on top of the news. They know all these indictments, it's a bunch of bullshit. And they know that none of it's going to stick. And they're getting to the point, they're like, oh, well, we need to push it back because some more information.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to keep it in the light until the election's over.
That's
and
right.
then amazingly, either one, he's going to win, or two, he's not. Either way, every single one's going to be dropped as soon as the election's over. Every single one. And I guarantee a judge is going to, the whole Engeron thing, I guarantee that's going to get dropped as well.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Donald Trump should, and this is just a question, do you think that Donald Trump should I'm trying to figure out how I want to put this. Pardon all future presidents or the future administration coming in. Do you think he should now? Because let's just time out and listen. You had him go after Hillary Clinton, nothing happened. You had him go after Bill Clinton, nothing happened. You had him go after Reagan and Iran-Contra, nothing happened. You had him go after Obama with wiretaps and spying, gun running fast and furious, pallets full of cash, nothing happened. You had him go after Trump, nothing happened. The question we have to ask ourselves is either A, do we truly understand that as a society that these elites will never hold a president accountable for anything he does? George Bush, I mean, whether George Bush intended to, which he did not, he listened to his daddy's administration, he is absolutely responsible for war crimes. I'm 100% responsible for war crimes against Iraq. I will sit here and say that all day long as the day is long, because there was no reason at all to go back into Iraq. I don't want to hear shit about weapons of mass destruction. I could tell you a litany of tales of the intelligence and the communities surrounding the United States who have assisted in intelligence gathering that said in no way, shape, or form do we see this. We may have seen this with the Kurds and the Sunni and the Shia earlier in Iraq 1 or after, but in the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years, no. I believe, do you do a pardon to stop the political witch hunts that take place on the other side? Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, no, Joe Biden needs to pay. Hold on a second. I'm all about that. I'm all about holding Joe Biden accountable, but they've tried for 3 years and they have nothing. Don't tell me that they are incapable of impeaching Joe Biden and doing articles of impeachment, because they very well could, because they did it under Donald Trump with even less evidence. The Republicans don't want to impeach Joe Biden. They don't want to give him the boost. They know it's not going to go anywhere and it's a waste of time. So the question is, when a president leaves, if he out of office and he's not going to run again, can we hold him or her accountable for their actions, not from a civil standpoint, but from a criminal standpoint? And my answer is absolutely yes. But should you pardon a president who possibly he's exiting the presidency, he will run again? Do you pardon them for anything that happened, or have an extenuating executive order that says that they must be out of political office or they must not have the intent to run in order to be politically hunted by their opponent? And I'm asking because it's really important to try to nail this down, Livy, because I understand people want the blood of Joe Biden, but you're not getting it and you're not going to get it.
I understand where you're coming from, but it's a double-edged sword, because you can say yes, but what happens if they do something really, really, really bad? What happens if they take that as the carte blanche, if I can get away with anything?
They've already done it. They've already done that. Obama killed 246 Americans with drone strikes overseas. It doesn't matter that they were Al-Qaeda and ISIS and they had denounced the United States. They were still American citizens, and he murdered them. I don't know what to say. George Bush.
It would save a lot of taxpayer dollars for sure.
Well, hundreds of thousands of Iraqis were killed. Nothing happened. The guns that went to Iran-Contra were obviously used in strikes against airlines and against, United States supporting nations in the Persian Gulf, in the Middle East. You know that what Obama did. You know that Biden, what he's responsible for, 13 American service members, putting a terrorist group in charge of security of exfil from Afghanistan in the Taliban. So they're not going to be held accountable for this stuff. This is where I have to say, do we, in order for political expediency, is that they can be held accountable, but their time for running for office or re-election must be over. If you have an incumbent president and then he runs for office, can you hold him accountable and lock him up with court hearings in order to impede him from running for a second term?
I understand where you're coming from.
I know,
yes.
but I know but this isn't, I'm not sold on the idea. I'm exploring it with people and asking them because I don't know if I like it. It makes me feel icky and dirty. But if the results are nothing's going to happen anyway, then why not just stop this shit and put a stay of execution on it? If you want to go after him for something big once he's out of the political fray, do it. You want to go after Obama right now? Do it. But what you can't do is stop them from running for office because you have a political axe to grind. Where is the lines of delineation between justice and retribution? That's my question.
Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from. And that's hard. That's hard.
It's a tough question, isn't it?
It really is a tough question.
That's my thought. Yeah. Why not Trump come in and say, listen, I am pardoning myself. I am pardoning Joe Biden. I am pardoning Barack Obama. Maybe not Barack Obama. I'm pardoning myself. I'm pardoning Joe Biden. And here is why. Because these political attacks must stop. Now,
I mean, it would be a good move on his part because at this point, it is fair game, right now for what they have done for Trump, what they have done to Trump.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's just opened up.
Fair game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be open hunting season,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
on anybody who runs.
Yes.
And it's like.
And if Biden wins, there's going to be impeachments on day one. That is when the holy hand grenade will get pulled and thrown.
Exactly.
That's
and
the thing.
And all it's going to be is it's going to be a barrage of constant issues at whoever's running, whether it be Republican or Democrat. And it's all going to be made up, and it's all going to be a distraction. And I think you're onto something with this, because I don't want to deal with this distraction. I want to be able to see, and I've always been one for, I hate the negative political ads. Hate them. I don't care what side you're on. I turn them off.
Yeah.
I hate them. And whichever candidate has put out that negative ad, it
turns me off too.
Yeah, it ticks a little bit lower, and I don't like them. I'd rather see the positive. I'd rather see what their side of the story is and what they want to do and what they're. I
don't even need positive. I just need accuracy.
Exactly. But
stop playing with the damn bracelet, please. Put it in your lap. Stop. Put it on the wood. Don't put it on the wood anymore. I need to get you a sound mat. That's
Yes,
what I'm going to do.
you do.
I'm going to buy you a rubber sound mat so
Yes.
you can play with your little toys.
I'm like the cat who's playing with the blinds.
Where do you get all those wonderful toys?
But it's a distraction, and it really is. And all it's going to be is it's going to be a political hack job on both sides, where what they actually want to do, the candidate wants to do, no one's going to know what it is, because all it's going to be is overshadowed by this charge and this charge and this indictment on both sides, and then no one's going to know anything. So I totally
So let's read this.
what you're getting at.
Howie says, I kindly disagree with people realizing that Trump has been politically prosecuted, as well as RFK is a blessing in disguise and will take more votes from Biden than Trump. But I respect your belief. I think if DeSantis keeps up his work in Florida, he has a good chance in 2028. I don't think Howie's talking to me.
No, I think it wasn't a part of a thread.
No, I know Howie.
but-
Howie's been a listener since
Yeah.
Howie's done amazing things for the show. I don't think it's the same guy. And he's certainly not talking to me because he knows that I don't like RFK. When it comes to folks, if you could, we are a 100% donation site. We survive on that. That keeps the lights on. We're not paid by the RNC. We're not paid by Trump. We're not paid by Biden. We're not paid by the DNC. You guys can look at our I-9s. They're on file with the state. In fact, our political contributions are nil. We don't take money from campaigns because we refuse. We do sell some shirts, which are some amazing shirts. You can find them at thedumbshow.com.
That's the one I'm wearing.
And the one she's wearing, and she won't be wearing later. And this is how you can find us at thedumbshow.com. But we do obviously go with donations. So you can actually do it three ways. You can go to thedumbshow.com with no B, DUMSHOW, and click on the donate button. You can give it PayPal, or you can go to linktapgo/thedumbshow. The moderators are going to put it out there right now. You can tip the show live, and when you tip it, you'll see it right up here. And when you go ahead and donate to PayPal, I will go ahead and put it up for you. If you don't want to, just simply put your name as no name, and we won't do that. But we survive on that type of stuff. Pays the bills, pays the rent, pays for the kids' braces and all that, because this is what we do. This is what I do for a living. Olivia has her job, but we do this and bring
This is my
this.
second job.
Yes, we bring this show to you. So if you can help, and listen, if you go ahead and take care of a few veterans first, we would appreciate it. If you would go ahead and throw some money to the missus or the mister with a nice little present or a wonderful dinner, we love that too. Once you've done all those things, if you have the ability to help us out and donate, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we'll move on to the final points. I think when we talk about this, it has to come down to, we have to change a couple things about the way we vote for these politicians. And the first thing we need to do more than anything is establish a time frame to run for president. It used to be you would run for president and it would be a 9-month endeavor, 6 to 9 months. And that was at the peak of the 70s. If you take a look at Carter, you take a look at Nixon, you take a look at Ford, you can take a look at even Kennedy. The election process was 9 months top, 6 months at the quickest. But we have continued to expand that now the election process for president is 2 years.
It's just
2 years. Folks, this started 24 months ago. This will be 24 months in total. This will be the longest run for presidency. And here's my thoughts, is I believe they need to create windows where you can say for the Senate that you must, in my opinion, they need to write a law for state legislature that they need to expand state legislatures to 3 years. Okay? Hear me out. Liv, you too.
I'm listening.
No, you're not. You're typing.
Well,
Can't do both. 3 years, you should extend state legislature. And the reason why is after the first 3 months of their term, they have to start running for re-election. State legislature has essentially less than a year, and then they got to start rerunning again. 2 years is not 2 years to run the presidential election is too long, but 2 years for state legislature, it needs to go to 3. But what you need to do is write a law, in my opinion, that makes senators 4 years. Make it the same as governors. And you have 2 terms to run in every single state. And the re-election process, they need to have a clean slate. And this is what I would do. I would do state legislatures on odd years. Every 3 years, we have an election, and every single state legislature is up for grabs. Every single seat. Mm-hmm. Then you do the Senate, and you do that every 4 years, and you do it on even years. Every single seat, all 100, are up for grabs. Then, on every 4 years on that even year, you do the presidency. So you do the state legislature would fall into that 4-year mark and get 1 through 3, 1, 2, or 3, or 1 or 3, and then Senate gets 2, and then the 4th year is for the presidential election. If you do that, and you reset all governors too, you reset all senators, the American people have a chance. If you don't do that, all you're doing is you have the cancer swamp and you spoon out a few scoops and put in some good clean water, and in the end, all you get is brackish water. You need to empty the swamp every single time. You need to clean the House, clean the Senate, clean the gubernatorial, and then you don't need term limits after that. The term limits aren't the problem, because even if you impose term limits, it doesn't matter. You're not going to change out the entire bad apple. You have got to cut it out completely.
but what about like Pelosi and Schumer? They keep getting elected over and over.
That's
and
what
over
I said. You have to
again.
have limits. You do it like the gubernatorial. Senators get 2 terms, a total of 8 years. Then they're done. Most governors can't run consecutive terms, so it's 4 years. They have to stop, and then they can run one more.
Why is that?
Because it's just the way the states work. The states have some governors can run forever. Some governors have to run for 4 years. Some governors can go 8. Some of them can't run consecutive terms. That's why you take a look at Youngkin. He's done. After this 4 years, he's done. Now he can stop and run again one time in Virginia. A total of 8 years, but it can't be consecutive terms. So you need to get the states to agree. And you trade some ponies and you say, listen, we're going to have the state legislature. We're going to go ahead and give you this. We're going to expand you 1 year, but your gubernatorial is going to have to come online, and we're going to have to keep the gubernatorial races just like the state legislature, just like the Senate. They're going to have a term, and you either make them consecutive terms at 8 or you give them a 1 term and you call it done. But you've got to clean the governors, because truly that's where the president's power resides. He is not the president of the people. He is the president of the governors of the state. That is his job. The governors are the presidents of your states. This is how it's supposed to work. And even though that's not the title they have, governors have veto power. Governors have overall bottom line expenditures. They control the military. They are the president of your state. And those are the people we need to do. This is what we must do. And there's no more term limits, because term limits is a horrible idea. Term limits is not going to do anything. All you're going to do is just change the refuse. And it's like changing a dirty diaper and just putting the same diaper back on. Sure, you take out the clump of shit, but overall the residue is going to build up. That's what, I hate to be disgusting, but that's the truth. Yeah. But if you use a fresh diaper each time, we can start limiting the influence of the federal government, which is what we have to do, and bringing the states' rights back. Because here's the thing, if you don't balance the budget, if you don't line item veto, if you don't represent the constituents of the United States and your state, if you do not go ahead and represent your district, you're going to go, and your ass is going to be booted out along with all of your cronies and buddies. It stops the ability for people to get into these committees.
Yeah.
and take over like the Intelligence Committee or oil and gas or ag or whatever it be, and energy and power, and get into these committees and make it a political fat cat stronghold where these special interests come in and buy the politicians for millions. It will limit the PACs. It'll limit the dark money, because you're not going to put that much money in a politician who is going to go home if they vote for you. So you're going to make your couple $100,000. You're going to get a couple of your, but it's not going to matter because the people are going to kick your ass out.
Yeah, it's also going to, the alternating terms is going to, this person over here is going to be like, okay, the newcomer's coming in. I'm going to give them all and then pull them over to this side. And it's going to keep that from happening.
Well, it's just like, it's like putting a Band-Aid on cancer. It's not going to solve the problem. It monastizes. There's no ability to make it, it's malignant. You have to make it benign. And the only way to make it benign is start over. That's the beauty of the Constitution of the United States. And in so many words, and to paraphrase, that when it's no longer working, we start over again. That's what it's designed to do. It wasn't about having a revolution and storm the Capitol and hang people from yardarms. It was, we have the ability to have a revolution federally every 4 years. We have the ability to have a revolution from a state side, from senatorial, every 6 years. And we have a chance to do a revolution every 2 years. But that revolution stops short of making change. You might go ahead and take out a few bodies. You might go ahead and change out a few capitals. But in the end, those battles do not equate to winning the war. We have got to find a way to strike and win the war and clear out these people who are lifetime politicians. Because until their influence it becomes benign, the malignancy continues.
Unfortunately, it's those lifetime politicians who are going to be voting on that bill. So it's never going to happen.
Well, that's not true. And that's where a convention of states can come in. Remember this, the power of the state, it's the reserve powers of the state. It would require that the states agree. And you would have to go ahead and trade some ponies with the Democrats to make it beneficial for them. And what they're going to ask for is more influence in places like California, where there's a higher population, in New York, and they're going to want more legislative body on the state. That's what they're going to want. You're going to have to possibly trade that with them. You're possibly going to have to give them some extra influence, but we're also going to have to limit their ability to redistrict and gerrymander in some of these areas, which is using a district that is predominantly, like, say, a white neighborhood and redrawing the lines into a highly dense, racially divided suburb of that city and saying that these demographics are the same. This is the problem with the districting that takes place. You have Democrats that don't do that. They don't want to mix white neighborhoods and black neighborhoods. So what do? They redistrict and they put the largest propensity of their voting demographic in a district, which gives them ungodly power because of the population that basically circumvents, for every one district, it circumvents 10 or 12 different districts. Thank you, BK. You're amazing. Thank you, sir. So
I wonder why people can't see, because you can go online and say, what is the income of the pay for a senator or a congressman or the president? And it's going to tell you, and they don't make that much, $250, $350, whatever. It's not that much.
Right.
Why these politicians, why can't people see that these politicians are millionaires now?
Well, that's they can.
And they see why is Nancy Pelosi worth like $300 million? I understand her husband did something, but I don't think what he did or does is worth $300 million.
Well, it is. What they did is that, and this is on the 60 Minutes back in 2012. This has nothing to do with Trump, but Nancy Pelosi and Paul Pelosi have been under investigation several times by the FEC in regards to, trading and using confidential information to make stock trades or dump stock ahead of news that would be detrimental to their portfolio. This is called insider trading, and it happens in Washington all the time. And Nancy Pelosi and the investments that her husband has made has somehow been free and devoid of her. But that's like saying that they don't talk. And she, doesn't say, wow, gee, honey, we have $100,000 in this stock. By the way, it's going to sunset tomorrow because the company is going to pull up and move to frickin' Korea. What? let's go ahead and sell our stock. Let's short our stock. Or let's get bullish because they're coming out with a new microchip that will revolutionize an M4 processor. And let's go ahead and triple down on our purchase and renegotiate some of our portfolio, sell it, and reinvest in this company even more. That's what they've done. It's insider trading. And it's not the first time they've accused, but let's consider this. You're absolutely right. Now, these politicians have every right to fundraise. They have every right to go out and do public speaking and sell a book, but they should not go ahead and trade upon their service to the country as legislative bodies and profit off of their service, because this is the thing that we stop churches from doing. That churches are nonprofits. Therefore, we don't charge them a tax based upon them being politically impotent. And if you're going to do that for a church, you better do it for these politicians, that they are unable to fundraise and personally keep these monies and launder it through political campaign contributions or super PACs. This is the problem with special interest groups. And this is why I am the only Republican that I know that wants to abolish Citizens United. And let me explain Citizens United real quick so you understand. Citizens United states that corporations have free speech.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? So that's like saying Starbucks has the right to free speech. That's ridiculous. A corporation isn't a human being. It has no legal right to free speech. Now, if the individual of that company wants to use their individual rights, then they absolutely can. But using the conglomeration of 40,000 employees to speak with a CEO who has billions of dollars, like Mark Zuckerberg, to go ahead and buy elections and consider that protected free speech is one of the biggest misnomers and fallacies ever. This is Citizens United. Now, the reason why Republicans wanted Citizens United is because a lot of the big dollar corporations that donated to Democrats, there were more Fortune 500s that were Democrat-based, and the campaign spending was limited, but they had so many contributions that the Democratic Party was out fundraising the Republicans. So the Republicans said, well, if it's there for speech, we can go ahead and say these corporations can donate hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and it's indicative of their overall size that they can go ahead and do that per employee or per whatever, per based upon their overall income, allows them to spend more money and they can donate more because they're a major corporation. That's what Citizens United does.
I don't think corporations should be able to donate to political campaigns.
I don't think so
either. It should be a personal thing.
I agree.
If the CEO of a company, you could do it on your own time, your own money, but I don't think it should be under the corporation's name.
Exactly. And that's why there's limits. So for instance, when Brandon wanted us to donate, and we could donate a total of like $5,000, $2,500 for you, $2,500 for me. Well, how is Zuckerberg giving $500,000 to some of these campaigns? Well, they're hiding under the guise of Citizens United. So the Republicans wanted to go ahead and use that as corporations are speech so they could have oil companies, big tobacco, NRA donate more so they could actually be competitive against Democrats. The problem is the last three elections, 2016, 2020, 2022 in the midterms and primaries, and now 2024, the Democrats are spending upwards of $2.5 billion on this election. Under Hillary Clinton, it was like $2 billion. Donald Trump spent a scintilla of that. He spent like $600 million, which is just scratching the surface. It's $1.4 billion less than Hillary Clinton. And in 2020, the Democrats spent like 2.1 because of COVID, a little bit less. He went to the basement, but they still spent an ungodly amount of money on radio and TV. Donald Trump didn't. He used social media. Republicans don't need to go ahead and spend that amount of money now. Donald Trump has shown them the way by holding rallies, by going on secondary TV shows like the internet, like going on OAN, like going on Charlie Kirk, like me broadcasting it, that the word will ultimately get out for a fraction of the cost. And Republicans don't need to do this. If you break Citizen United, it is going to absolutely kill the Democrats more than it hurts us. You have got to give them what they want on this. Take away these big political action committees and corporations spending this money, and I promise you it will make a difference. Democrats hate it. They want it gone. Trade ponies. Tell them, give me border. Give me everything I want with the border, and we'll give you Citizens United. I don't understand. Republicans aren't raising any fucking money anyway. They're bankrupt. It's not helping them. They can't get small donations. Big corporations are all in the pockets of the Democrats, and they're not getting the amount of money from the NRA, the tobacco company. Why? Well, because those two
the NRA is sucking hind tit. They're ready to be bankrupt. And the tobacco companies don't have the leverage because they're charging $10, $12 for a pack of cigarette anymore, and their profits are down. The oil companies, we also know what's happening, is that they're having restrictions on drilling, energy production, the push for EV. We need to go back to the small grassroots donations and limit the Democrats' buying power with these massive corporations donating an ungodly amount of money. Period. Get rid of Citizens United. It's bullshit.
That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Liv, are you awake?
Yes, I am.
Did I go on too far?
No.
All right, Liv, tell them how they can find us. Tell them what they should be doing, wherever they can follow us, where they can visit us, talk about Spreely. Go ahead.
You can go to thedumbshow.com, and there you can get connected to the news. You can go to our store where you can buy hats and t-shirts and coffee and all that fun stuff. You can go to, what is it? tv.spreely.com.
Spreely.tv or tv.spreely. Okay. Either one will work.
And join us there at Spreely or linktapgo.the/dumb show. Is that correct?
linktapgo/the-dumb-show. That's the easiest thing to do. Go to linktapgo/the-dumb-show. Those are all of our links where you can do it. Just to give everyone a quick recap, Citizens United is a conservative nonprofit group called Citizens United Campaign Finance Rules after FEC stopped it from promoting and airing and film criticizing presidential candidate Hillary Clinton too close to the presidential primaries. 5-4 majority Supreme Court sided with Citizens United, ruling that corporations and other outside groups can spend unlimited money on elections. Court's opinion, Justice Anthony Kennedy wrote that limiting independent political spending from corporations and other groups violates the First Amendment right to free speech. So essentially what it does is it empowers corporations to be treated like an individual. And it is absolutely one of the most ridiculous things ever. And we need to get rid of it. I have been against Citizens United since I first heard about it. And it's a ridiculous notion. Folks, do me a favor. If you have not had a chance, the Veteran Crisis Hotline, dial 988, then press 1. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. It is way too many. Please do me a favor and reach out to a veteran. If you recognize that they are struggling or having problems, please provide them this number. They will make that call absolutely free of charge and anonymous, so your name is not revealed. They'll call that veteran. They'll provide them the help that they need. I want to thank BK. I want to thank Deb. I want to thank everybody for their donations tonight. We appreciate that. You can still donate. This is up 24 hours, 7 days a week at thedumbshow.com, and you can also go to LinkTapGo. We will be back. I'll be back tomorrow with an early show in the morning for sure because I've got my new monitor and I can do my show more effectively. We're going to set that up right after this. And since we're off a little bit early, bless you.
Oh, allergies. Ugh.
We are off at 8:24 tonight. Spreely users, thank you very much for watching. I need 6 more likes. I cannot get off without 100 likes. We've had 125, 140 on all night. I need you to do me a favor, please. 6 likes. You just got to leave outside the chat, put 6 likes on the board, and come back in. It doesn't take that much. Please do that, and then we'll go ahead and sign off. I can't do it without those 6. Also, we are at 189,855 likes on the Don't Unfriend Me show. No, you cannot leave, unlike the page, and like it and have it count. Don't even try. People do it all the time. You might see it go down right now. People are going to try. If you've already liked the page and followed, please don't change it. If you haven't, please go do that so you can stay in touch with Olivia and I, and we can continue to provide you the very best content possible.
We have more people watching on Rumble than Facebook right now.
How many people do we have on Rumble?
61.
Facebook is...
Last time I checked, it's 61 right now.
Wow. We've got quite a bit on Rumble. That's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah, Rumble's growing. But we only have 17 thumbs up, people. Come on.
Come on, Rumble people.
Hit the thumbs
There's
up button.
102. All right, everyone's coming back. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Between the hours of 9 and like 10:30, I will make sure I'm on, and we will provide a great show for you. I know we're a little off early tonight, but that's okay. We can do an hour and a half show. Nothing wrong with that. Stroh's pitched a no-hitter last night. Amazing. Out of the last 2022 until now, there's been 8 no-hitters in Major League Baseball. Astros have done 4 of them. They did get swept by the Yankees, but hopefully they sweeped. I said sweeped.
You're pulling it
fucked
out of Hayden's page there.
They swept the Yankees swept the Stros. Let's hope that doesn't continue. God bless everybody. See you tomorrow. Thank you for taking care of us on the Dumb Show. We'll see you later.
Night,
Have
y'all.
a great night.
Maybe.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.